right. Here comes Shaq. He knocks him down and he gives him a whack. He can score goals. He's coming back. Eddie, Eddie Shaq. They call
40
him the
seconds, the
great
greatest of them all. I'm saying, I knock him down and give him a whack.
I don't even need to do the introduction anymore, do I? Eddie Shaq is here. Ken Reid from Sportsnet. The hockey legend. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us with hockey's most entertaining stories and possibly put together the fastest I've ever seen a book put together because there's so many stories probably.
It was wild. It was easy. Brian Aaronworth from Frameworth Productions, one of the startup publishing wing, he called me up in January. We started sitting down.
Sign that right now. Well,
he's good to go. We started, what did we start talking, Eddie? Late April, early May, and we had the transcript in by June 15th. It was fast, but with Eddie Shaq, Eddie, you like to talk like me, so we got along like peaches.
he's busy right now.
Yeah.
Look at this. Now, this is the front, and this is the back. And now they gave me a penalty. Now, why would they give me a penalty?
That photo, when I hadn't seen that photo in years. When I saw that, well, I think maybe it's the hug. You were showing too much love.
2 minutes for 11.
You're not nowadays. You're not allowed to leave one skate, let alone go flying. Did you have a airplane license for that one?
When you see the book inside, I'm in the air most of the time. That picture there was #1 for a long time till Bobby Orr scored that winning goal and then jumped. And if I knew that, I would have jumped a lot higher.
How do you manage to shorten up the number of stories? You must have. I don't want to exaggerate, but millions of stories?
Well, quite a few, and then when you have a few cocktails, they come out a lot.
What's your favorite stories in here?
Well, the favorite one is my song. When, like, Gordie Howe, he sang, we went to a golf tournament, and he sang his song, because I knocked him out twice.
Yeah.
So he sang his song, Who's the Greatest of Them All? And then I sang mine, Knock him down and gives him a whack. Eddie, Eddie, Shaq. He said, that's what I want to talk to you about. You don't hit me, and I won't hit you. Across the table, we shook on it, and we had a lot of fun from there on.
Never hit each other.
You never hit each other after that?
No. And like Jean Beliveau, like I hit him once, and I said, I'm sorry, John. Then the third period he came along, and the stoop did the same thing. So I said, well, I'll wake him up again, and I'll hit him again, right? I hit him again. We're going through the airport. And he says, Hattie. You know, like they can't say your name properly, them Frenchmen. Hey, Hattie. I said, why do you hit me like that all the time and you say you're sorry? I said, John, sometimes I lie.
So this went on for what? 2 weeks, just this? 2-3 weeks, a month. And it was awesome. I'm the stenographer. I'm not the writer. I just typed out what Eddie said.
No, but it's great when we go and sign. We sign together, eh? And I don't like to put down to George or to Stella Wopachowski to spell all these names like, and Ken writes to George, to Pete, and it just absolutely is fantastic for me.
And then Eddie writes Ed Shaq.
And well, that's what my dad used to do that with all the cards, right? My mom would write the cards out, and my dad would put his name
Signed it,
underneath.
Yeah.
You guys are married now.
Well, we're pretty tight. Hey, it's the 1990s. We're hip, right, Ed? No, wait, 2019.
No, but
another 20 years.
That's cool.
We get along great, though. That is most, like, a lot of guys don't get along very well, but Ken and I, we get along great, and we have a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about. Like I'm not, like, I can't read or write. I'm like, I gotta say the word.
Say it.
Illiterate.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to say it properly, you know, because when you've got no education, I like to say things properly. You know what I mean? There's no BS.
But it never stops you, though, did it?
No. But I had a lot of fun. Eh? Like I worked at Dominion Stores. I worked as a butcher. I worked, you know, like on different jobs. I had the golf course. I used to sell beer on the golf course when you couldn't. I used to put on fivesomes, sixsomes. You know what I mean?
He's talking about golf. There's a lot of illegal stuff that happened in Eddie's life. He had his driver's license at 13, then he lost it at 13 and a half for, well, drag racing after a few cocktails. You
must have been slow if you got caught then.
87 miles an hour max, right, Eddie?
That's I had a 38 Dodge.
But these stories, you also got other players to tell some of their stories as well?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
How do you manage to squeeze?
Well,
how do you manage to get them out of
We
them?
got Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Hull, Phil Esposito, George Armstrong. Eddie got George Armstrong, former Leafs captain. George doesn't do interviews or do much media-wise.
He's from Sudbury, right? He's very temperamental, you know what I mean?
Is that what people from Sudbury are?
Oh, Georgie, would you say, oh, no, I'm not going to sign that. George signed the damn thing and shut up, right?
So, yeah, Brian Aaronworth, our publisher, hooked us up with all these great players. Bernie Parent talked about. Bernie Parent was in nets the night Eddie had one of his 2 famous stick fights with Larry Zeidel. So Bernie Parent not only described what a stick fight looked like to us, but more importantly, I thought what a stick fight sounded like. Can you imagine a stick fight? If we woke up this morning and went to the Leafs highlights and there was a stick fight, there'd be a national inquiry. This man got in 2 of them. And did you win them both, Eddie?
I think so. But
Was it like sword fighting? Would you?
Yeah. Okay, what happened? He speared me, right? I said, you spear me one more time, you'll get this stick right over the head. He speared me, boom, right over the head. And we
It was
fought.
a little different in the 70s, wasn't it?
So we fought on the ice, and then after that, we went up. It was in Niagara Falls where it was in training camp. So I went up to watch the game because we're going to go to a bar after, so everybody goes to the same bar. So I go upstairs. Who but Larry Zeidel comes up. Boom! I whack him when he falls down. I could have given him the boot, but I didn't. The cops come in. They take us both to jail. I've been in jail. How about that?
That was another illegal thing I forgot about.
So things are a little different today than they were. What would you say to the players today with what's been going on?
Well,
It's so different.
It's so different, and they're in such great shape, and you know what I mean. Like when you do something like even number 34, when he did something like that I felt that he should have been the captain right away. Like then stick with him, and then when you stick with a team like that, and he's going to be scoring more goals, and then everything will work together. You work together as a team, you know, and then. Like our team doesn't shoot the puck, like from the blue line. They want to make perfect. Everything is perfect. You know what I mean? Like things weren't perfect for that. Like if you had to run somebody, you ran them. You know what I mean? If you got into a fight, everybody got into a fight. You know what I mean? So things are much different today. You know?
You got into a lot of fights, Eddie.
Where would you rank Austin Matthews' little pants debacle in your pantheon of stories?
I think it was just like some girl said something and he said something else, and then it was sort of stick it in your crease, and then there it was. You know what I mean? It was a nothing thing really, and it could have been a lot bigger if he would have been the captain. If he would have been the captain, everybody would have said, yeah, we're sticking with you, big boy. You can do whatever you want. And that's when you get to the Stanley Cup, right? Now we're into the finals. Now we're going to win the Stanley Cup. And that's what things are all about, I think so.
All right, one last quick question. I don't know if it's possible. What do you think the Leafs are going to do this year?
Well, I hope they do well. I hope they get together. And I hope, like the coach, when somebody's playing, play him. You know what I mean? Like when Sidler got 10 points, Red Kelly put him on, off, on, off, on, off. That's how he got the 10 points. And I think that's what we got to do. If somebody's going good, play him, play him. And they're in great shape, and they go out there for a minute and a quarter, and they're off. Like we used to go for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So the things are a lot different now. I understand that, and they're in better shape. We weren't in good shape. We were in better shape than we went to the bar and talked about it, and then we played it. You know what I mean?
I got to cut you off there. I know we can keep talking, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm very happy to be here. You're the best.
We're going to continue the stories after we go to break, but right now you'll be signing copies of the book at Real Sports tonight before the Leafs game. And if you want to purchase a copy, go to any Indigo store or framework.com. We're on BT coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And as always, man, a pleasure.
You do a great job.
Well, thank you. You did a great job, and I love this book, and we look forward to reading it.
Well, I've never read it.
BT coming up.
Let's have a